Hey, hello. I am Chris from Airwindows, and I am literally just checking in today. I've just spent hours carrying firewood. So I'm tired. Although that will be something to be happy about tomorrow, when I am going to see whether maybe I can't drop in. Hey, Jonathan. Hey, Alex. I'm going to see whether I can't drop in tomorrow for other people who don't have a Thanksgiving to do. And anybody who has nothing better to do can come hang out with me. Towards that end, I put a little effort into, oh God, it's like 4:55 here. This is later than I normally go live. Towards that end, I did a little testing and got the Minecraft thing that I used to play up and working, which was a bit of a huge pain, honestly, because it has been 9 months since I have played a game. Had a bunch of stuff to do, you see. But tomorrow might be a fine time for doing that. Not enough time left for today, because today I'm going to be making dinner and doing my exercises. Not that I need to now. Geez, I've been carrying firewood. But I will anyway. I have managed to get down to like 170 pounds. And doing the exercises is what lets me carry the firewood without hurting myself. So that's always very useful. Yeah, I can imagine that would be, yep, that's pretty late, UK. I won't be staying for terribly long. I just wanted to swing by and say hello. And then I'm going to go and make my dinner. You might notice something behind you, though. Or behind me, not behind you. I'm sure you'd be quite happy if it was behind you. I have been putting together the modular synthesizer again. So one thing I could do is drag over the other camera and show it off a little bit, because that one I can focus on the background. Although I don't know, the positioning that it's in is actually pretty cool. It's like, yeah, I should have that on for these streams too. Look at the way that it reflects in my glasses and stuff. Thing is, if I drag over the other camera, I can tell you what's there. So that could be fun. And I won't be here for terribly long. Again, I have been motivated to, the only one that I'm really keeping track of is Wednesday check-in. And I'm doing that just because I would like to, where I can. But Tuesdays and Thursdays are if I have the energy to do it. And today I do not have the energy to do lots, but I get to share with you what I did today. So on that note, and this is going to be good fun when we get to do this. It being Console X, when I'm using the modular stuff, I'm going to be doing it in Console X as well. Like, I'm going to mix directly into that. But for now, yeah, also observe all of the lights, all those lights, too many damn lights. And what I don't have is this hooked up to audio yet, but I can show you what it is. And again, like, this is a MIDI control surface, man. You can say it's a nice console, up to and including the color-coded gangs of faders and stuff. This is all to control Reaper. This is nothing but a MIDI control console. There's a little thing up here what you can't see. A faint little LED that lights up. But we've got a bunch of stuff here. and I can tell you all what it is. Although I can't make it so you can hear any of it. This is the, maybe I can drag this microphone over here. Let me see. I would like to find out. Okay, not really, but sort of. So I can get the microphone over to here. And if I scooch back and forth, or point it this direction and shout. So here's my stuff, and maybe I don't need that blinking light. So here's what we've going on here, and yeah, this is, you lift up to here, and then you see other stuff, but all of the actually workable stuff moved here. So everything on the top row I built. Like everything up here I built from kits. This is a Neutral Labs Scrooge. Maybe let me find out whether I can get it to make noises. I do have my headphones. Now the way this works, so this one up top is a Neutral Labs Scrooge. I've got some outputs here, and then I can stick the headphones right up to the microphone. It's a kick drum thing. A sort of hat thing. A sort of snare thing. A weird noise thing. And a kind of bassy rumble noise thing. So that is the glitch drum thing that I built. It's a thing called a Scrooge from Neutral Labs. And I soldered all those bits together, and most of the hard stuff lived on a circuit board. I didn't have to solder that. It's going to sound much nicer when I actually have DI, because I need to run this into the mixing board. It needs to be run into console so that I can like boost lows or whatever, do my compression and stuff. Yeah, well, I don't have to do it live, but this is designed so it could maybe. What I have here is not making a sound right now, but maybe it can. We'll find out. I'm going to actually put on the headphones for this. Can we cause it to make a noise? VCA is the correct output for this, I believe. Oh. I turned the pitches up, but the velocities are all down. So that's a Moog Dayfam. And I got to tell you, it's not doing much very useful at the moment, but that's fine. It's going bing, 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 and I don't know quite why it's doing that, but that's fine. Holding the headphones up to the mic. This is a very primitive way of playing around and showing stuff, but what the hey. So that is the Moog Dayfam. But wait, we've got even weirder things going on, because these up here are Turing machines running at different rates. This one is at a way of cranking up some of the rates, like way over on the side there, to be either very fast or come to a halt if I want. It's a Doepfer clock multiplier, and what I've got here is a way to plug it into different dividers. Whole purpose is to have a bunch of sort of brains going on, being able to give me strange subdivisions of things. And I tested it out. It seems to be working okay. Got a bunch of other divisions and things up here. For instance, if I had a handy cable, I would be able to plug the cable into this logic input up here. And then there's one of the outputs that is like difference between the two clocks. And then I can feed into it like one of the strange clocks from out of an expander for this high-speed clock. They can be related, but they don't have to be exactly the same. And all that stuff does various things, like, let's see. Have to unplug this. I've got like 4 different synths that are going to follow that chord progression. This is the Blue Lantern Asteroid Operator VCF. Do this. Asteroid Operator VCF. Very strange little critter. I'm also using a sub input, which is like a square wave input, off of my bass. Which is this. Actually, I can't hear that because, hang on, I do actually have to go and get a cable. Won't be long. a cable or three. So if I plug into this output, which is not in use, and it's the inverse of one of these envelopes. So it's on full crank. Therefore, that's the bass being fed into the thing as the subsonic oscillator. So that's another one of these little oscillators. It is also following the same chord sequence. That's not programmed. That chord sequence is coming out of one of the Turing machines, this one. So it's currently doing a series of 5 chords. And I can make it kind of randomized to some extent anyhow. And it'll end up doing different things if I tell it to do that, but everything will be following the chords that the machine tells it to do. I plug in my output, and so here's where I get to have a little bit more fun. Pretty sure I can make this work. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's going to be another one of these. And actually, nope, that one needs to be plugged into the other thing. So this part needs to be plugged into, I think, this. And then I need to plug another one into the output of that envelope so that I can force this VCA to be on. Almond breaks. Now the reason it doesn't sound very good is because I haven't synchronized it to the timing. But it is doing its thing. Now if I was to slow down the basic thing, because remember the glitch percussion is still actually running. Like this. And this are running off of the same clock. I just don't have it in a way where I can really get much use out of it at the moment. And we can also do odd things, because it's essentially a sampler which does this. In order to change the tempo, I have to type something in on the Scrooge, or since this is running off of the secondary tempo, I can just turn this knob. I did a bunch of that stuff on the Welcome to Free Luna album, because what that is a bunch of weird old department store music recordings off of archive.org that were sort of edited and changed around until they were just a dense pile of sound, just all kind of edited together. I removed all of the silent bits, meaning we can actually play this and continue it playing. So check this out. Once I pull this plug, it's going to start playing it straight through, but it's not actually playing it straight through because it's edited to take out all the silences. So it actually is something like this. And that's not even true, because it turns out that's not the one I thought it was. I have a little cheat card. And the one that is the Amen breaks, this is actually called Denon Orchestra, which is another set of recordings I've got. Check out some of the recordings I've got.
Occasionally, that I would hopefully forget I was doing, so that if I wanted to...
Ambient system. Or here's a neat one from the recordings. This is actually from a more archive.org stuff, but instead of being department store music,
he said it looked easy enough to operate the engine, so off he went, and back the mower came. But the other one, well, you followed up the sale with instructions.
Starts his engine the first time.
it's some kind of funky tutorial thing for old department store employees. It's about shrinkage. And then we've got a women teaching women about how to be department store clerks.
He's lost all right, but not his last friend. You see, he hadn't had time to bring him up. Of course, that. Nothing. That. Nothing. That. Nothing.
If I hit the button, it plays, and if I change start, it picks a different one.
I had all kinds of the 10-cent size cold, the 10-cent size, the 10-cent size cold, the 10-cent size, the 10-cent, the 10-cent, the 10-cent size cold.
Because a high point item is, because a high point item is, because a high point item is, because a high point item is,
Wasn't any. I had all kinds of, wasn't any. I had all kinds, couldn't find a bit.
So you start making that go crazy with a bunch of strange... Let's do it, in fact. I will do that. All the sound is a Sennheiser hypercardioid mic listening directly to my headphones. So fair enough. Well, I'm glad that's working out, because that's all I've got available at the moment.
Or at least I do.
Now, wait a minute, Barbara.
Wait a minute.
So I'm going to plug this modulating wire
You work harder in the
into, probably it's going to be the station.
You're putting 10-cent size. I'm all right, but not as I'm all right. But you see, Mr. Banks. You see, romantic. You see, Mr. Banks.
See, it sort of occasionally freaks out or does something weird. You can even crank it up and go faster.
You see, Mr. Banks thought you see, well, lost all, see, Mr. All right. Well, he's he lost. You see, all right, but not all. Well, he left out my. Well, he left out my. Well, he left out mine. Well, he left out mine. Well, mine. Old fashioned. Hey, Mr.
Yeah. And then there's one further thing which is going to be quite challenging to demonstrate, I think. But that I'll show you that, and then I'm going to go. There's bunches of synthesizers in here. I showed you the bass, which goes through a Doepfer Wasp filter. And then there is that chord. The chord goes through, oh, I do have an additional thing which I have not actually heard myself, so let's do that. We've got this, right? But next to it, there's an additional thing. And where this one got the chords there, or we can plug into this. I could also unplug the output of the sampler that's doing that and plug it into one of the chord organs, which I have told to be low ambient. What that means is this. So yeah, that is one of the chord organs I have available. But then I've also got this whole other one. That's my drums instead of Amen. And if I flip it over, it's drums that have been taken at different speeds so that they are essentially the normal speed, but it's just kind of weird jamming and ranting. You can see that kind of works. But I can unplug that. And this is those chords again. But you'll notice it's no longer doing the chords properly, because this up top stopped having the lights lit up. But it has lights in there. It will start going into chord changes. But it ended up wandering away from any chord changes. All of the lights were the same, so it didn't actually do any different chords. Now that it's doing chords, not that one, down here. And it's a high-pitched one. So that's two distinct samplers, each of which I have access to its little SD card. I can do the portamento, obviously. One of the things about what I call the ambient chords is that it tries to have the fewest notes change when it goes to different chords. And I've got different tones for it. Signs, although they're 12-bit signs. So that's a whole bunch of different stuff to do. And lastly, I'm pulling the cables on the Plinky. Plinky is this little synth that you can actually power off a USB. And that's going to be my ability to play like notes over whatever chords, as demonstrated here. Let's see. Using the Plinky, I'll be able to play rather legato notes over stuff like this. Also, the way the chords work, I can change another control up here so that it'll either keep everything strictly in the circle of fifths in a key, or I can start throwing weird chords that don't belong in the key, like this. And that will increasingly go to funny additional keys in that sequence of chords. So it'll throw unexpected keys, but the bass and the higher synths and stuff will follow right along to it. And that's kind of the idea there. That's what I was using in the album Welcome to Free Luna. That one's playing two chords in a row. So yeah, this is the basic mechanism by which I did Welcome to Free Luna, but at the time I did not have And you see I've got that set up chromatic because I need to have it chromatic to be able to follow the chords that it'll generate. And yeah, and the neat thing about this box, hey Crappy Blonde, this is probably the time where I should go and make dinner. Let's go into darkness. So yeah, that is wiring up all the little wires that hold that stuff together. Because if I take out these patch cables and this patch cable, you'll notice that all of the blinking lights are still blinking. And that is because it has large numbers of just hookup wire with 1/8 inch plugs on them, like hooked up to go to various places. Had to run all of these extra little cables. These are just hookup wire soldered to 1/8 inch, and you can see there's a lot of wiring in here, and that's because I know what needs to run what, like the divider, which this is actually doing that job, needs to run the chord change, but it also goes up here for something else, and that is also determining how the fast beat is a subdivision of whatever that interval is. So the fast beat is going on a chord change of whatever the chord change interval it's going to place between 1 and like 8 different subdivisions between whatever that is, but that could also be like 5/16 notes. So I'm subdividing 5/16 notes into, at this point, well gosh, right now, yeah, so that is 5/16 notes and 6/5, which is the rate that the third top blinking light is going, which is similar, but I do not think it is quite the same as the 16th notes. And even if it was, we could make that be fixed by telling it to go, let's see. Yeah, so now every 5/16 notes, there's a chord change, and then there's 7 notes in the space of each 5/16 notes, which is the faster tempo running. And then I can run a cable over to one final silliness, because Plinky is still plugged in. And we've got this Scrooge going. That's going to be a primary drum sound for me, because I know I can run it into console, and I'll be able to get good sounds out of it because it has good edges to it. But what we've got here is this extremely fast rate going on. Now let's see. By the way, the bright ones on the end, I can switch back and forth between those and the output, which will help me do weirder hi-hat things. But here's a hi-hat thing. Oh, wait. Oh, no, it's both of them. So if I plug this in, I've added a strange subdivision. But that's not really as cool as another thing that I tried. Let's see if I can make it work again. I was plugging the output of this into the input of B. And then one of the logic outputs, let's see. Into one of those inputs. So I'm now figuring what I need to do in order to make this do something. Might not be able to. Yeah, I don't think that's doing the tempo I had in mind. But it's doing stuff. Now the thing about that is that it's just a very hot signal because it's one of the gate outputs. But what I've told this to do is use the X or Y input. X input is this little blinking light here, and the Y input is sort of swooping up. So and that is all internal to the Neutral Labs Scrooge. And it's going to be great fun showing this stuff off once I have it all plugged into a mixing board and can mix it rather than just hold headphones up to the microphone and plug them into things. Because that's fairly poor. But, you know, good enough, I guess. And on that note, I'm going to say that that is good enough checking in for after my carrying lots and lots and lots of firewood and being exhausted. And I'll do this again. And I am looking forward to maybe dropping by tomorrow, which will be Thanksgiving in the USA, and spending some time just derping around in Minecraft and hanging out with people. If you would like to do that, or if you're a person who doesn't have anything going on that day, I'll do something with you, because I haven't got anything going on that day. And I will talk to you later. Most likely see you tomorrow, unless something, I don't think anything's going to happen that'll stop me, but at any rate, I expect to just unwind and derp around and jumping around on things in Minecraft or something. And that should be fun. So I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.